You're watching Prevent-A-Thon 3, where our next run, the last one for today, is ready. So let's go over to KnuckleyKong with some Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide any percent rando. Over to you and good luck.
All right, thank you. My name is KnuckleyKong. This is Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. I made this flag set special for this event. In the commentator booth with me, I have...
It's me, it's Derek.
Derek.
How's everybody doing tonight?
I am doing good.
Good.
So this is a modified version of our Ultros League flag set. I took some of my favorite draft cards because we do have a draft bot in the Discord where it takes the base Ultros League flags and you choose different ways to modify it. So I have increased battle rewards, increased max level on enemy, and faster scaling. It is a barter seed, so all items cost 2,000 gold and sell for 1,000 gold, with the exceptions of the discounts that you get from Edgar in certain shops. Starting stats for the characters is increased to 140 to 200% of their original values. The objectives for it: unlock the final fight with Kefka is 6 characters and 9 espers. To skip the tower walk, you have to either recruit Umaro or complete 24 checks. Completing the Leet River check, which is one of Terra's checks, will unlock all 8 blitzes, and then finishing the Fanatic's Tower check will give you all 24 lures. All of the bosses are randomized. Espers have an 82% chance of giving a stat bonus and cost less to summon, as well as magic cost is reduced. Equipment for weapons and armor is original plus 62%, and then relics is original plus 54%. I also included the Y remove flag, which will allow you to get into certain checks without having the character. I will not use it for that. I just like to be able to get the annoying NPCs out of my way.
I think we've all been there.
Oh, absolutely. So, I think that is all of it. We will start with 3 random characters, and their abilities or special commands are random as well. So without further ado, I think I am ready to get this started.
Good luck, have fun.
And we are starting with Umaro, Mog, and Shadow, so we already have Kefka Tower Skip, and we have a Blitz Mog and Control Shadow.
It's a pretty good starting set, correct? With the control and the blitz.
Yes.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I very may well be. Blitz scales off of magic, which Mog has more. Is that physical ATK?
Yes. Most of the Blitz commands do scale off of magic. There are some that scale off of vigor or strength. Pummel being the main one that scales off of strength.
Fair enough.
But the best blitz in the game is Bum Rush, and that is 100% magic scaling.
So there we go. Sounds like we might have lucked out a little bit having it on Mog. Is that correct?
Yes, but also in the Worlds Collide randomizer, all of the stats are randomized. So each individual stat for the character is 140 to 200% of its original value.
Okay. And then, knowing that you started with Umaro, and that unlocks the Kefka Tower skip. What does that mean for logic? Is it basically gonna say, hey, as soon as you can, you're gonna be going to Kefka Tower, or what does that mean specifically?
So in Worlds Collide, the goal is to defeat Final Kefka. In the vanilla game, you have to climb Kefka's tower. With the KT skip, you can go right to the switches before the final statue bosses. So you don't have to spend all of the extra time climbing the tower to get to the statues. You can just go straight to it, which is about a 5 or 6 minute time save. So it's very beneficial.
That is a pretty good time skip, all things considered. So right now you're doing your little bit of your initial shopping. I've watched quite a bit of the Ultros League, which you mentioned earlier. And we can probably talk about that a little bit later as well. But so you're just doing your basic beginning, starting shopping and going and finding random items, correct?
Yep, shopping and looting. The shed in Narsh is where you start one of Mog's checks. So when I went in and there was the wolf sprite, that is the lone wolf, and then you climb all the way up the mountain in Narsh and you will finish Mog's check, which that one is a dead check or a free check. And
Okay.
one of the flags that is on is no free lunch, so checks that do not involve fighting bosses or any enemies is a free check, and it will reward an item instead of a character or an esper. In the Ultros League flag set, that flag is not on, so there is a possibility of Mog's Lone Wolf check being a piece of progression, but in this particular flag set, it is not.
Oh, okay. I just had one question. Not to play 20 questions with you, but I think that's kind of my job. Equipables. What's the variation on equipable items going from vanilla to randomized?
So I believe in Ultros League it's lower than what I have in this flag set. This flag set is the original equipment plus 62% for weapons and armor, and then relics is original plus 54%. So
Okay.
there's a 62% chance that if a character couldn't equip it in vanilla, they can equip it in this flag set.
Pretty good chance. While you're doing this initial check, I would assume it's generally safe that we can go ahead and talk to Stump for a little bit. What kind of things we got going on, and anything like that. Would that be correct?
Oh,
it
yeah.
cool if we throw over? Okay.
Yep, typically the first 10 to 12 minutes of a seed is just looting.
Fair enough. So I would say, Stump, you got a little bit. What do you got for us?
All right. I'd like to say a word about the charity we're benefiting, the reason that we're here, and that is Little Warriors. They're a national charitable organization focused on the awareness, prevention, and treatment of child sexual abuse. And they also advocate on behalf of and with child sexual abuse survivors. And you can get more information about them at littlewarriors.ca. It's a really great cause to be raising money for. And it's nice to see that we've gotten so far past any of our previous totals already.
I can agree with that. I've been keeping my eye on that total, and it has been amazing to watch it go just skyrocketing through the roof. noticed you picked up an EXP egg. Or Stump, was there anything else? Or anything else you got for us?
Well, I'm good for now since you were about to say something.
Okay, I was just gonna say, it looked like you grabbed the EXP egg. Now, if I am correct, that doubles the experience that the equipped person gets. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, how does that stack on top of what you are getting? So, I know that you said that your battle rewards for this particular flag set is, you listed it as 4 times experience. So, an enemy worth 100 would be worth 400. Does that stack on top of with the egg? So now it would be 800?
Yes.
Or how to... Okay. Just want to know if that was a stacking thing.
Yep. So the modification of the rewards is in the base flag set, and then any thing on top of that works just as it did in vanilla.
Okay.
So one of the pieces of armor that I've purchased is the cat hood, which increases the amount of gold that you get from fights.
So you're going to be rolling in the gil and the experience tonight.
Yep, which is very nice for barter seeds, because you don't really want to go spend $2,000 on a sleeping bag. But if you're getting 45,000 per fight, then it's not that bad.
Right. That makes sense. And the experience, it kind of keeps you from having to do a little bit of an experience grind that we all know, love, and we tolerate.
Yep, and that is what's great about this randomizer, is most of your experience that you'll need you can get just from the fights during checks. There's not a whole lot of grinding that needs to be done.
Okay.
Typically, Ultros League, if you're mid to high 30s, you can complete the final fight with Kefka, depending on your equipment and magic.
Okay.
Thunder rods.
It's been a hot minute since I have played Worlds Collide. I think it's probably been at least a year and a half. So I think there's been some updates and things like that. So this is something that I'm looking at going, I think I need to get back into. I love me some Final Fantasy VI.
And I love the vanilla game, but I can't speedrun it because I enjoy it too much. Whereas the Worlds Collide randomized experience doesn't take away from the vanilla game, because it's different every seed that you roll.
Yeah. I think that's a huge portion of the randomizer communities as a whole, is people who have a love for the vanilla game. Like, well, I played this 1,001 times last year alone. I think I want to do this randomized. I'm here for it. I'm part of several different randomizer communities, and I can wholeheartedly agree with that. The speed running of a game that we know and love gets intensified with that randomized feelings. That you never know what's right around that corner.
Yep, and that's...
You skip right off the bat.
Right. I did a seed earlier and did not end up with skip whatsoever. I had Final Kefka unlock at 14 checks, so it was a rather quick unlock, but then I still had to climb the tower, and Umaro was nowhere to be found, and at that far off on check skip, it made more sense to just go straight for it instead of trying to grind checks to get skip.
Fair. Now, what is the logic behind putting KT Skip behind Umaro? Is just not enough to do with Umaro as a whole, or is it just it's a cool character to put KT Skip behind?
There is a lot of hate for Umaro in the community.
Okay, fair enough.
A lot of people do not like him, whereas he is my favorite character. He's not able to be controlled.
Okay.
So you are at the mercy of a Yeti. And sometimes it works out very good, and other times it does not.
Fair enough. So this is just kind of like a cosmetic, hey, it's my favorite character. Is that correct? Favorite character?
Yes.
Okay. That's actually kind of cool. Quick question. Maybe it is, 1:00 in the morning at this point. Why is there two Moogles? You have Shadow and Mog, or is that a cosmetic?
It is a cosmetic. One of the pieces of equipment that I picked up was a Moogle suit.
Okay.
And with the Moogle suit, it changes the sprite into a Moogle.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone use it. And it might be just me not paying attention. Is it a good piece of equipment, or just in general, just better than nothing?
It's got good defensive properties, and then I believe there also has some status that it negates.
Fair.
So it's a beneficial piece of equipment. It's much better than the ninja gear that Shadow starts with.
Okay. Now, I feel like I'm contractually obligated to say, is Air Force right there? I'm not sure this is even randomized. And then Magimaster. That kind of screams a little bit more randomized. Because Air Force is originally in this air sequence, correct?
Yes. At this part, where I'm fighting Magimaster.
Got it. French Vanilla, Air Force. Now, Magimaster, it can be scary because of the wall change, or has the randomizer kind of made some of those changes to make it a little less daunting? Okay, well, you just used a blitz and it just did 4,000 damage, so...
So, Aurabolt is Pearl-based.
Okay.
And now it's not going to do anything, but Aurabolt does scale off of magic. So I have Mog with earrings and an experience egg and an already high magical stat.
Got it.
And then Yeti will just randomly tackle, which is lovely when it happens.
Gotta love the tackle.
And now, Magimaster shouldn't be too difficult to defeat because I have not pushed scaling. I haven't gotten any extra characters and I don't have any espers. So at this point, it's just kind of battle it out and hope for the best. Magimaster does have an incredibly high physical defense as well as evade.
Okay. Looking at, I have cheat sheets that you've sent me. So I see that scaling is based upon, it's 3.5 based on number of characters, espers, and dragons. So that would be a 3, so it would be 3 times 3.5, would that be correct? Because you have no espers, no dragons, so it would be just your 3 characters and 3.5. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm
plus
right.
or minus 2.
Okay. Fair enough. So with the floating continent. That is the word that I was struggling to find there for a second. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's about what is it? 3 checks?
It is 3 checks. It is a longer sequence, but spot number 1 and spot number 2 are guaranteed progression. So
Okay.
when I landed, I found Celeste. The middle part of the check has an option of being an Esper or an item. And then the end part of the check is either an Esper or a character.
Okay. That's pretty healthy of being able to say, hey, first and third will get us something that we need. Second will get us that experience with the boss. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And then there's a couple other checks that have guaranteed progression.
Okay.
Dome a Dream being one of them, Cyan's check in World of Ruin. The second spot in that 3-part check can be progression, or is progression, so it's either an Esper or a character.
And that's locked behind Cyan, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's pretty cool, because this is character gating, so whereas in other randomizers you might have a special key or a special weapon, your characters are the keys for this. It would be a good way to describe that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. While you're finishing up the second boss fight, and we're running to the third one, Flame Eater is such a great boss, I actually enjoy it casually. Unless you have anything, I think, why don't we throw it over to Stump? Do you have anything before we throw it over to him?
Alright, well... I guess I can mention that we do have... Oh, sorry. Alright. We have we do have a couple of bidwares for some early runs tomorrow that are open that you can put your donations toward. Music and SMRPG remake and shop name from one of 5 very nice choices in Sticky Business. Those are the second and third runs tomorrow, respectively.
That is awesome. I'm looking forward to the Super Mario RPG remake run. I enjoy that game very casually. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing what can be done in the hands of the master.
As far as the bidware goes, well, currently the remake music is ahead, but only by a little bit.
Now, is that real fast? I wanted to ask the question. Is that any percent? Or are we facing QLEX? Not Q. QLEX, yeah.
For what exact?
The remake.
The remake run is going to be normal RTA.
Okay. Fair enough. Just want to know if we were going for Super Boss. That's awesome. I love this floating continent sequence in the casual run, because it is one of those moments that I remember playing it as a kid and being like, oh my gosh, this was a game-changing moment for me. Because up until this point, I'm like, all right, cool, you're in the same world. I think the most extreme cases of different world was Chrono Trigger. But this one was, no, brand new world, you have no choice in it. Go recruit everyone again.
Yep, and then also, in order to get Shadow in World of Ruin, you have to wait until the timer is just about expired before jumping off the floating continent.
I don't know of any time I ever was like, yeah, I'll just leave Shadow behind. I was like, nope, I'll wait. It's fine.
Shadow is, with his throw ability, is just an amazing character. Throw helps you through a lot in the early game in the Worlds Collide Randomizer. You get a couple elemental schemes and just throw them at enemies, and it goes.
Because that isn't bound by defense, correct?
I believe it ignores defense.
Okay. I was hoping I remembered that correctly from from watching Ultros League.
We have a Yeti versus a Yeti.
I believe earlier we seen some dabbing Yeti emotes, which I am particularly fond of. I think getting Umar for the first time casually is... It's... There's nothing about this game that is... Just everything about it is just mind-blowing. And I don't know if that's just because I played it as a young lad of just like, oh wow, this, Celis is an Empire defector. That's awesome. Or, oh my gosh, all the character moments for a game that has so many characters, and all of the characters feel like they got their fair time in the limelight, story-wise.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do with a game with, what, close to 10, 15 characters?
14 characters.
14 characters, okay. That's hard to do.
But somehow they still manage. Even Gao in vanilla, you use him quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't remember who I was talking to about it, but the way and the pace at which you recruit your characters makes it so that you have to use each and every one of them, and then you get to decide in Real World of Ruin of who are you going for.
Yes.
Most of them are generally telegraphed of, gee whiz, there's a mysterious man near the Figaro Castle. Whoever could that be?
Right. Edgar trying to hide.
Personally, Edgar is one of my favorite characters, so that is always the go-to recruit.
In the randomizer, I like his checks because they are all right next to each other. You can do them all in a sequence in World of Ruin, or you can just pick and choose which ones you want to do. And then his
awesome.
Ancient Castle will get you a dragon. And it's
Yeah,
just
because you can move the castle, can't you?
Yep, it's a quick check. Or a quick sequence of checks.
I like that. I mean, as a kid, it was always just like, oh, Edgar and Saban, like, they're the quintessential gaming twins. And admittedly, growing up, I was like, oh, I'm a twin. That must mean they're the coolest characters ever. And you know what they are? I'm going to be honest. In my opinion, they are pretty cool characters. And the way in which they interact as brothers really just is one of those moments where it's so cool to see. Also, Ifrit At the factory?
That's vanilla.
Again, legally, contractually obligated to say, is this even randomized?
I hate that I had to just burn the ice shield that I got, but it made that fight so much faster.
And that's what we're here for. Now, they share an HP pool, so if you just freeze down Ifrit, you're gonna be good. You're not gonna actually have to face up against Shiva, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And then also, you can run from that fight. It is a glitch. If you hold down run during the transition from Ifrit to Shiva, you will run away.
Huh. Does
So,
that cause you to lose out? Well, I mean, of course it causes you to lose out on money and experience, but does that take away the check, or...
it does not.
Okay.
So you would still complete the check, but if you ran into a situation where you didn't have anything to get through that fight, you could run from it, lose the experience, but still make it through.
Huh. I didn't know that, because I knew you could use Y to remove Shiva, correct?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
We're not about to start. Larry, Curly, and Moe. This is the Doma dream sequence was the weirdest one that I remember playing up against. But I definitely got the Three Stooges reference.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of them heals. I believe it's the top one, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So the general strategy is take out the healer first, then take out the back one, correct? Or is it from there, just go for it?
Kind of just go for it. Larry is susceptible to instant death. But then also, if you take too long in the fight, he'll just run away.
Fair. Schwantz in chat is saying you can remove both Shiva and number 24 NPCs, but you don't get the reward from those spots. That is excellent to know.
Yep. You can also remove the last boss for Floating Continent, and you would still get the reward. You can remove the center boss for Floating Continent and miss out on the reward.
Ooh.
And then with Y remove, you can break into the Magitech facility. If you don't have Celeste, you can get into Locke's weapon shop check and get the Curse Shield. You can break into Mount Zozo for Cyan's check to get in there and take out the dragon.
So Y remove can be used to kind of do a lot of sequence breaking, which we're not doing here. We're mostly just using it for get out of my way. I don't have time. I can't stop.
Yep, and that's the end goal, is to get through it quick.
I am here for that. I kind of wish that a lot more games had a get out of my way, be gone with thee. And it makes a cool noise when you use it too.
So Mog right now, since he's been holding that experience egg since the start of the seed, is almost level 40.
Now, is there wisdom in giving the egg to someone else so they can get some more experience, or pump up those numbers, let them carry?
After this check, I will take the experience egg off of Mog and put it on someone else. The reason I have kept it on him is to get him to level 42. At level 42, I can go to a house in World of Ruin and learn Bum Rush. So then I am not relying on finding Terra to do the Leet River check to get Bum Rush.
Okay. Gotta learn that powerful blitz, and then you can do that. So then, with your current party setup, with the way it being is, who do you put the experience egg on? You've got Celis, you've got Shadow, you've got Umaro. You put it on Umaro, let him pump up the raw damage, or what's your thoughts?
I'm probably going to put it on Celeste, because I know 100% that if I find an Illumina, Celeste can wield it. And you want to get the higher levels on your physical attackers.
Okay. So for those who might not know, Illumina is considered to be one of the most powerful swords, correct?
Yes, it does hit very hard. It has a chance to cast Pearl after attacking. And then also it has the... it boosts the evade stat.
I don't think I ever realized that it boosted the evade. That is kind of cool, to be honest. So Illumina could potentially come from a item reward. So any of the potential checks that give an item instead of a character in Asper, correct? Or is it only certain things?
Yep, it is one of the dead check rewards.
Okay.
Which is great. I can go straight to the South Figaro basement for Celeste's check and just see if I can get lucky and get the Illumina there. Or I can... Gao's dad's house is one of Shadow's checks, and that's a free check. So I have a couple free checks on the table to where I could potentially get the sword that I'm looking for.
Okay.
Or I could also find it in a shop.
And doing those checks then isn't going to ruin the scaling, because it's based on your character's espers and your dragons, not checks. Because I feel like I've seen a couple flag sets where it is based upon number of checks completed.
Yes, the Warring Triads flag set was based on checks.
Okay. I think I watched part of that one as well, so I have been very casually watching all the Warring Triads, Ultros League, that sort of thing. Just kind of casually, kind of keeping up with those. I love some Final Fantasy. It's probably one of my top game series as a whole, and like I said before, Final Fantasy VI is just a solid trip of nostalgia, and I'm here for it.
The Warring Triads event was actually the first event that I participated in for Worlds Collide, and it was very enjoyable.
That's awesome. So they do the Warring Triad, they do Ultros League. What else does... I feel like this is a good time maybe to kind of transition into what else do they do? I know they have a mentor program, so if you want to...
We do have a mentor program, and then also we just finished our first ever Moogle Cup.
Okay.
And the Moogle Cup was a paired event. So you had a mentor and a Moogle, and they worked together on a seed. So it's, you had someone in your ear giving advice, asking questions, helping you plan out a strategy to get used to it. Figure out the best way to get through a seed and how to do it quickly. And that was very awesome. I was a mentor for the Moogle Cup first experience with the Moogle Cup. And it was
awesome.
It was great.
It's really cool to hear when communities have that sort of program, as it were, or event to kind of help get newer folks into the randomizer and into the community, because it kind of helps bring them along and says, hey, you've got an activity you can do that it is very much expected of. Hey, you're not gonna be the best of the best, but we're gonna get you to where you need to be. And I think I'm here for that.
Yep, and then actually our very own Drinks Glue made the Moogle Cup flag set. So it's a modified Ultros League flag set as well, and it works, and it's a great way to get introduced to it and get experience and get comfortable enough to potentially join Ultros League. Warring Triads was one of our off-season events. Okay. So it was in between Ultros League Season 5 and Season 6 that they did the Warring Triads, and I believe those flag sets were crafted by Double Down.
Okay. Now,
and that
I
one,
hear...
you were on a team.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen part of that where you had like you had a team, and they were based upon the goddess statues. So you had Poltergeist, the other two.
Doom and Goddess.
That would be it. Just escaping my head for there. It sounds like a lot of flag sets are kind of it's Ultros modified, or it's Warring Triad modified, and that's kind of really cool to see. Of like, hey, these flag sets are ubiquitous, and then hey, you know what? We're gonna make a couple tweaks, maybe make it a little bit more marathon safe, like the flag set that you have set up here for us today, and things like that, where it's just, hey, we're gonna run something slightly modified off of a base, and I'm here for that. So, looking at this, it looks like you're doing the dragon. Then, do you potentially go for Kefka at Narsh and Mountaintop, and then Yeti check? If I'm thinking about my order correctly.
So Kefka at Narsh is World of Balance, and dragons are World of Ruin. So my plan here was to come in, fight the dragon, do the Tritok spot, do the Yeti spot. Earlier in the seed at the beginning, when I started the Lone Wolf check, and I went up, if there was a character blocked by Yeti, they would have popped out of a little hole in the side of the mountain. So we know that the Yeti spot will not be a character, because there wasn't a character hiding in the cave. But we do have the possibility of getting more espers. And the faster we find espers, the faster we can get to finding more characters and get into Kefka's Tower.
And there still is the potential for, even if it's not an Esper, it could potentially be the Illumina?
It could be a high tier item, which is always lovely to see.
So it's kind of if you have the time, it's kind of a win-win sort of situation where it's like, well, it's not a character. We know that from being able to see up on the mountaintop, so it's either a high tier item or an Esper. So it's not... It's worth doing if you have the time.
Yep. And if I was down to needing just characters, I wouldn't do this check, because I know it's not going to give me what I need.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Flame saber out again.
We have some time for a donation.
Yes.
All right. We have a donation of $20 from the Schwantz27, who says, "Thanks, KnuckleyKong, for showcasing our awesome randomizer for a great cause. And gotta give it up to the Yeti for clutching out that Magimaster fight. Question: Is the Moogle suit on Shadow made of real Moogle, or is it synthetic?
For the purpose of this event, it is synthetic.
I'm terrified by that answer.
I can't say for certain if it's synthetic or authentic in the vanilla game.
Fair. I choose to believe it's sort of like the dressed spheres from X2 where they dress up as a Moogle. That was a deep Final Fantasy cut. I choose to believe it's like that. Just a mascot costume. How about that?
That makes sense.
I think it's funnier though too. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just imagining Shadow dressing up in a giant mascot going, I'm going undercover. So, Espers, I know that there are some key ones that we will need for calmness protection, which is one of Final Kefka's big moves. What ones are you specifically hoping to find?
I am hoping to find Golem, Fenrir, Siren. I believe I just got Phantom. Phantom is great calmness protection as long as you use it at the correct time, and I am really bad at using it at the correct time, so I tend to not do that. And the reason for that is with Phantom, it gives you the fear status, which makes it so you don't get hit by physical attacks, and calmness is a physical attack. But when Tier 3 of Final Kefka gets under 10,000 HP, he will counter with Train or Meteo. So if you use Phantom at the wrong time, then you get hit with Meteo 100% of the time, and it takes away the clear status.
Ooh, that is not ideal. So we're hoping to get one of the other ones that provide a little bit more stable protection, would you say?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
a little bit more safe protection, I guess.
I'm here for this. Gotta go for the marathon safe. And I'm as someone who's done randomizers in marathon settings, it is nerve-wracking to go, okay, well, I vetted the seat. I'm sure it's going to be fine, but boy, this could get interesting.
I went into this seed blind. I rolled it right before I got called into the booth.
Okay.
Normally we do have groups that can vet the seeds for us, and I just forgot to ask. And if I would have had the seed vetted, I can about guarantee I would not have started with this seed, just because you start off with Kefka Tower Skip.
Right. They would have looked at it and went, Yumara to start? Not today. That seems a little too easy.
We have a Setzer laying on the ground.
Ooh. Now, Setzer can equip fixed dice, standard, correct?
Correct.
Is that something that is good late game, or is it more of an early game to mid game fixed dice?
It all depends on how nice the RNG gods want to be to you.
Got it.
If you are able to pair fixed dice with the Stray Cat Rage, and this is another vanilla boss. Stray Cat does 4 times the damage.
Okay.
So even a bad roll from fixed dice could still end up doing 2,000 damage.
That ain't bad. So for those who might not know, maybe in chat, fixed dice does damage based upon a dice roll, and sometimes it can be on a critical hit. It can roll. It's a quad 9, correct?
Correct.
And that is regardless of level.
I think so.
Okay.
The Schwantz would know more about that if he is still in chat.
Okay.
But yes,
No.
fixed dice is there's actually a really complicated calculation to figure out the damage from fixed dice. And it's all dependent on what the dice on the screen show after they're rolled.
Fair enough. It's sort of like the crisis arm for Robo and Chrono Trigger, of kind of like the last digit of your health, kind of sets your precedence, sets your attack.
Yes.
Fair enough. I'm weirdly here for that.
If you pair it with an offering, you get 4 rolls, which is an incredibly long animation. But if you do Genji Glove offering and have 2 sets of fixed dice, then you have time to go make yourself dinner while your character attacks. Because you have to wait for him to throw the dice 8 times.
What? I was gonna say about 8 times. Okay, so you have time to go get a drink, get some water, get some food, stand up, stretch, go check out the incentives to go donate.
That is the big one.
Yeah, agreed. Fixed dice damage equals dice 1 times dice 2, okay, times dice 3 times level times 2. Okay. You know what? I did not have my TI-84 out and ready, but Schwantz, it appears that you might have right there. If the 3 dice are the same, then you multiply that whole thing by the dice number. I feel like that is so complicated, and again, I'm here for it. Had a question, real fast. So I know in the original game, Vanilla, you face an undead boss, such as Hydon right there, or you face Phantom Train, or the Behemoth fight earlier. You can use Revivify or Phoenix Down, and it'll immediately destroy that boss. Does the randomizer say no, not today, and disable that, or is that kind of a flag set?
There is a flag that makes it so you cannot do that. They are still... Ghost Train, you can use Doom, but not Phoenix Down or Revivifies.
Okay. That's kind of cool. And well, first and foremost, why would you be doing any of that Phantom Train when you should clearly be doing the correct thing, which is suplex the train? I think I love that. Okay, it will remove the undead property of the boss. Okay. I know that some randomizers remove some of those air quotes cheaty methods of taking out a boss, but I kind of like that. So what is your next game plan here? It looks like you're still in the World of Ruin.
Yep, I am going to go into Daryl's tomb because it's right here. It's the final check I have for Setzer. I did the Search the Skies and got an Esper from it, and then the Collagen Inn is a free check. And I did that because I was right here, and it paid off, and I got a Ragnarok from it.
Excellent. So I would say, while we're cruising through Daryl's tomb, we have time to throw it over to Stump. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see here. I wanted to. I didn't get to say that last donation through the classic music into the lead for Mario RPG tomorrow. That's always, yeah, I like seeing good words flip like that.
Bid wars that go back
So,
and forth.
plenty
I
of
like
things
that.
to put your donations toward to affect how some things are going to unfold tomorrow.
Should be an interesting remainder of the event. And once again, I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to be part of the event.
I can wholeheartedly agree with that one. So far it has been excellent to work with this, to work with staff here and this amazing charity. I was host earlier this morning, so we got to hear all about that, and I just love getting to be able to do something for such a really good cause. So I'm excited to get to basically get to do whatever is needed to be done, whether hosting or doing some flex work here and there, or even getting to just talk about Final Fantasy. I may not be a Final Fantasy Worlds Collide runner actively, but I enjoy just getting to be able to talk about a game that I know a little bit about, and get to see someone who's really good at what they are doing get to do this. So I'm super excited for all of this, and of course I'm super excited for the upcoming runs in the days to follow. I know I've got a couple runs coming up on Sunday that I'm excited for. And you know what? I gotta be real. I'm really happy with how things are going, and just want to say thank you to the entire chat. You've made this event go as well as it has. So I gotta ask: are you an original OST or remix OST fan of remix games?
I think it depends on the game. I love the original soundtrack for majority of the classic games. And actually that's another thing that you can do if you use Seedbot in the Worlds Collide Discord. We have a argument in there where if you do the preset followed by and tunes, it will randomize all of the music in the seed, and not just from Final Fantasy games or Final Fantasy VI. You can get music from Secret of Mana and Chrono Trigger and Lufia, and it's just amazing. And sometimes I'll do that just to mix it up a little bit.
You get to play the guessing game with your stream going, okay, guess what song this is.
Yep. And it's a lot of fun, but I think majority of the games I prefer the original soundtracks instead of the remastered or remade.
I fall squarely in the area of I would much rather listen to the original OST with the original game or separately. So, you're doing work for your day job, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to pull up the original OST for Secret of Mana, Lufia, that sort of thing. But if I'm playing the remake, I like getting to hear the reimagined version of those things that I know. A big thought that I've been playing a lot lately is like the remake of Secret of Mana. Some of the orchestrated pieces are really good. But sitting down doing work, I'll go and load up the original OST. So as far as like if I'm playing the new game, a new OST, but otherwise casual listening, kind of here for the original.
And I can agree with that. I feel like the reimagined or remastered fits better with the remakes. I think if they remade the game and then used the original soundtrack, it wouldn't match up as well.
Yeah. Just imagining original Final Fantasy VII music on the remake.
And maybe I'm the outlier and it may be controversial, but I don't know if I'm too big of a fan of the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Fair. No. So this is a conversation I recently had on a if we're talking about Chrono Trigger. I know I feel like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI can be said within the same breath, and it kind of feels natural. If you remaster and reimagine a game, you have to there's a lot of padding that has to be done for some of those classic games. We have the extra side quests and mini games or remakes of games, and sometimes I don't know that fits the vibe for me, at least. So I think like if they tried to do a Final Fantasy VI remake in the style of Final Fantasy VII remake, I feel like it would just get so expanded beyond the original scope that it would just feel like it lost itself somewhere.
I can agree with that. For Final Fantasy VI, I would be okay if they did the Pixel remaster, and I enjoyed that one. One game that I definitely feel like deserves a remaster is Final Fantasy IX.
I think a lot of people would agree with you on that.
Final Fantasy VI is my favorite Final Fantasy pre-disc based games, and Final Fantasy IX is my favorite disc based.
Okay.
I gotta do Opera House.
I think I go 6 for my pre-disc. As far as disc, that's honestly a really tough one. I'm gonna go with the maybe it's not so controversial or odd, but I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy X.
10 I enjoyed, but I feel like it takes a long time to get going in Final Fantasy X.
Fair. I completely missed out on original run of Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9. It skipped right to 10, so it is 100% nostalgia speaking. So I'm very well aware of it. I'm very much nostalgic for Final Fantasy X, because I didn't have 7, 8, and 9 until much later. So I wanted to ask the question. It's a weird one that I don't know if it gets asked often, but of the split party segments, so you've got your Moogle Defense, you've got your Kefka and Narsh, and then I would even go so far as to say Kefka Tower. What is your favorite split party sequence? Or is it kind of doesn't really matter?
I think Moogle Defense, because it's the quickest. Kefka and Narsh I avoid until I have at least 4 characters. But a lot of times Kefka and Narsh ends up being last location character for me. Like, now I'm going to Opera House because I was expecting to find a character from Mog or Kefka at Narsh, and I did not. So, with no free lunch on, we know that a character will not be at the South Figaro basement. Means the only other option is Opera House.
There you go, not too bad. And that'll actually unlock your 6th character, correct? If I'm counting correctly. So that means you'll have your 6 characters, you have 11 Espers right now, Does that mean we are rapidly approaching Kefka Tower, or once you get that 6th character, what are you gonna have to do to be ready for it?
No, we'll go straight to Kefka Tower.
Okay. So
I am high enough levels right now where I don't need to go try and fight another dragon for the experience. I mean, the last fight, I think I just got like 85,000 experience from it. So it's a little bit overkill.
fair.
Celeste has the Ragnarok, so if I encounter a situation where I need to attack instead of use magic, she has an answer for that. I have decent magic on majority of my party. And then Bum Rush on mobs, so I have an answer for everything.
Okay. So looking at your roster of characters not yet recruited, who are you most hoping for to fill out that roster?
At this point, it doesn't matter. The party that I have currently will be the one that I take through the final Kefka fight.
Okay.
I am a Yeti supporter, and live by Yeti, die by Yeti. He will either do what he is supposed to do during the final Kefka fight, or he will get me killed.
Fair enough.
I've had many seeds where I took Yeti all the way to Kefka and ended up with just Yeti left because he caused an ultimate counter in tier 4 and he survived and somehow managed to pull it off.
So you believe in the heart of the Yeti, got it. I'm here for that. It's one of those things where you're like, you know what? It's a little unorthodox. Maybe not everyone may agree with that strategy, but boy, is he entertaining.
He is, and if I would have found a Rage Ring, I think Rage Ring is my favorite relic when you have a Yeti because it just makes him throw your other party members.
Now, does that do damage to the other party members, or nope?
No, but it does incredible damage to the enemies.
Okay, so again, I hate feeling like I'm playing 20 questions, but I'm kind of here for. That's what I'm here for. Does the damage scale based upon who that character is, or what they're equipped with, or is it just I'm throwing a character so I do X amount of damage?
I think it is based off of Yeti's battle power, just as his tackle is.
Okay.
So there's been times where you can have a gambling Yeti, where Yeti can equip fixed dice and he's just throwing dice at people. But if he attacks or if he tackles, it's not great because fixed dice, I think, puts his battle power at 17.
Ew.
Yeah, so the tackles do virtually no damage.
Big yikes. Okay. So you're getting ready to do Kefka Tower. I think this would be a really good time to talk about, for us to throw it over to Stump of talking about what's coming up tomorrow, what kind of incentives we got. What do we got going on there, Stump?
Alright, well, when we come back tomorrow, that'll be starting off with some Mario 3D Land 90% and with the City, and then we have the 2 runs that those bid wars are for. Music in the SMRPG remake run. After that, that's a normal RTA run. And Sticky Business after that. That's a bit of a category. Limitless Whole Red Flags. What chat integration? Looks like an interesting time. And about the Bid Wars, we do have the classic music currently ahead for SMRPG.
That is excellent to hear. So, getting ready to do Kefka Tower, doing Kefka Tower. What kind of time range are you thinking? Like, you're looking at it, you're sitting at a very comfortable hour 6. What are you hoping to? What's your goal time with entering Kefka Tower now with KT skip?
With KT skip, I think I'm gonna be right around like a 122.
Okay. Because you don't have to go face off against the statues, or do you?
You do. So with
Okay.
skip, it puts you right in front of the statues.
Okay. I don't feel like I've seen. Maybe I fall asleep by this portion. I don't feel like I've seen a lot of people that get the KT skip. So I'm used to just running through the entire Kefka Tower.
So going for skip depends on a lot of factors. If I have unlock and then only have 2 checks for skip, generally you can get those 2 checks done faster than climbing the tower.
Okay.
So it all comes down to what is the quickest way for me to get to my end goal.
And with the immediate KT skip, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer to go for it.
Yep. And with in Ultros League, skip is a very wonderful tool, but it's not always necessary. The Kefka Tower climb is roughly 5 to 6 minutes. So if you have 2 checks available, but they're long checks, generally you're going to want to just take the tower climb. But if you're 2 checks away from skip and you still have a couple free checks to do, or Celeste and you haven't gone to Magitech, you can do Magitech 1 and 2 very quickly and then warp out. And that'll give you KT skip.
It's all about the time balance.
Yep.
Okay. And that comes with the game sense of just knowing, hey, these are the checks, this is generally how long it takes, so I'm gonna go do those, skip, or they go over going to climb, and that just comes through playing. And again, can't call it enough, the Mentor program, and it was
the Moogle Cup.
The Moogle Cup. I was like, it had a name. I'm pretty sure it was Moogle something. So
yeah, and that's
excellent.
And then sometimes you get to skip, but you're not confident in your equipment or your levels, so then you still do the Kefka Tower climb because it's needed.
Yeah.
There's 2 dragons in Kefka Tower. There's Toilet Atma, and then there's the ambush spot. This is less than ideal. Tentacles is never fun with only 2 people.
But Bum Rush, right?
Bum Rush and Yeti swinging a club for almost 8,000. So there's Toilet Atma, there's the ambush spot, there's the 3 statue fights with Guardian, and then also 2 dragons. So there's a lot of experience that you can get in Kefka Tower. So even if you have skip, if your levels are low or you don't have the greatest equipment, you can take the dragons to try to get a high tier item. Same with toilet atma. Ambush spot is generally just used for experience.
Makes sense. So that is the I was gonna say the three statues, which is just incorrect, categorically incorrect. Oh, okay. Ultros at the last tower, or the last statue. That's really not that bad. I like Ultros.
Yeah, these were very, very easy statue fights, and I am thankful for that. In this seed, we did not see Doomgaze anywhere.
Yeah.
We
and
did
the
see
early Magimaster too.
We did see an early Magimaster, and if I run into him, I would prefer it to be early.
Yeah. I can agree with that one. So now it looks like you're getting ready to go right in Kafka right there. So I think if I remember my number incorrectly, it's about roughly 8-9 minutes for the entire Kafka fight.
It varies. I've had some that were 14 minutes because I didn't have good equipment or good magic to make my way through it. And then my fastest one was under 6 minutes. But that was with the Doom's Rage flag set and a lot of big shiny swords.
Fair enough.
Doom's Rage focused more on physical offense instead of magic offense. So all of the dead check rewards were big shiny swords. So you make your way up and have 5 Illuminas. It's hard to go slow.
Do you have a little time for a donation?
Yes, sir.
All right. We have a donation of $164 from E, who says, "Get gold." And that did put us at $1,500, filling up that gold bar for today. It's wonderful to reach that amount, and looking forward to seeing how much farther than that we can go on the throughout the rest of the weekend.
That is beautiful.
Amazing.
Thanks so much for that donation, and thanks so much to everyone who did anything to get us toward that.
That's amazing. So this is a 3-part fight, correct? It just, I don't know, 4-part technically, correct? You got the 3 statue parts, then final Kafka.
Yep.
Okay. But then in each of the parts, you've got one face, or one boss, and then you have 3 bosses inside the second phase. And
so
then 2 on the last.
Tier 1, there's 3 targets. There's head, fist, and long arm. You always want to kill head first, because if you kill head last, he counters with Quake, which generally does a lot of damage to your characters, and it's not fun. This one, Tools, is susceptible to instant death. You want to mute magic so that you don't have to deal with a bunch of slow animations. Tiger is weak to ice, and Hit just is susceptible to stop. Hit is the blue guy, Tools is in the middle, Magic's in the back, and Tiger is Tiger.
That was the only one I was like, I don't think I have to ask about which one that one is.
I don't think I've had Doom miss this many times in a row. It's impressive.
Ooh. And then the last one is,
Oh no.
I always think of it as like, What was the last? What was the last fight? I had it, and then I completely forgot the last statue phase.
We have a zombie yeti, and I can't do anything about it.
Oh, that's not ideal. Live by the yeti, die by the yeti, am I right?
Yep. As long as he doesn't start... Oh, that...
Huh.
I was gonna say, as long as he doesn't start attacking my party, I guess as long as he doesn't tackle anyone in my party, be okay.
Hopefully. Oh, at least attack the enemy, right? Now, when phase transition to the next statue phase, since technically it's 0 HP, does that mean that Yeti will drop out of the fight, just like anybody else who's sleeping?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if it was a special flag case of like, well, you have a zombie, it's you're kind of stuck here.
Nope, he will leave the party. He will not move on to the next tier, which is not great, in my opinion, but we do have strong characters that can come in because we did get characters late in the seed. So that is a little bit less to worry about.
Yeah, and it's a little bit safer than having to go, well, please don't tackle me.
Yep. And that is tier 2 done.
Not bad.
So the way I knew that was done is Magic was the last one alive, and when Magic does his death counter, it actually casts the spells. It ignores the mute status that you put on him, and he will counter, or his death counter is Dispel or Quarter. You always want to see Dispel and not Quarter.
Okay.
I think Terra's dead. No, surprising.
Now, what was the name of these bosses? I had it and then I completely have lost it.
There is Lady or Girl and Sleep. Or Rest. Very original. He is sleeping, so. Not entirely sure how they came up with those names, but that's what they're going for. I think I used that too early.
I almost want to ask, do they actually have the sleep status, or they just look sleepy?
Nope, he's just looking sleepy.
You know what? That's fair. I was like, surely they wouldn't, like, start a boss fight off with sleep, but that would be really interesting. Like, if you wake up the boss will just absolutely destroy you. That would be, admittedly, kind of interesting.
Alright, let's see who survives calmness. Terra did. Impressive. So Terra is going to take the Thunder Shield I just put on her and use that, because that will cast a Magic Defense Ignoring Bolt 3.
Not bad. And that'll do the 9999.
It should do close. Terra does not have the magic power boosting relics equipped that everyone else does, but it should still do a decent amount of damage.
Okay. I mean, might as well use it. You're not gonna... There's nothing after this.
Right? Can't take it with you. Bolt 3. Bolt 3. Bum Rush.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with chat. Worlds Collide looks like a lot of fun. I played it a couple, maybe year and a half ago, and I'm thinking about getting back into it once I finish all my stuff that I have scheduled out. I think I'm gonna be trying to do more Worlds Collide.
Worlds Collide is very fun, and it's a wonderful community. I'm glad to be part of it. If you have any questions, we do have the mentor program, we do have the Moogle Cup, and that is Final Kefka down. I was real close on that 122.
And that's officially timed, correct?
Yes. Yep, the
Okay.
crack pow is the signification of final time. So, according to my timer on my end, was 121.46.
Not
GG.
bad. GG.
Thank you, thank you.
And we have a $25 donation from Peyton herself saying, in honor of all that y'all do to help little warriors with their mission, been loving the FF6 run and can't wait for sticky business. Hoping for the Pan and Ace flags the most. Thanks so much for that donation. And well, having hit the $1,500 goal that there previously was, our next one is 2,000.
I am so glad that we just keep breaking through the goals that we set, or that are set.
I am too.
It's awesome to see so many people come together and donate to such a wonderful organization.
Big agree.
That also was to name, what was it? Name the sticky business shop, We Less Than 3 Little Warriors. It's a wonderful choice there. So, where can people find you if they want to
If you would like to
follow
find
or
me,
watch you?
you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/KnuckleyKong. That's really the only place I'm at. I don't do much other social media, or you can find me in the Worlds Collide Discord. If you want to get into Worlds Collide, join the Discord, or just go to ff6worldscollide.com and you can roll your own seed. There are preset seeds on there, or you can go through and play with any of the modifications that you want and roll a custom seed for yourself and have fun. We do have the Moogle Cup, which we are working on more signups for the second Moogle Cup. The first one was a giant hit and everyone loved it. And then we also have our mentor program. So it's a lot of fun, and we are happy to have new people come in, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Everyone there is very nice and willing to answer questions or help out with whatever you need.
Sounds like a wonderful community.
You can find me on Twitch, Derek GNC. You can also find me on YouTube as well. I do a lot of randomizers. Honestly, if it's an SNES game, I'm probably going to be looking for a randomizer for it. But yeah, you can catch me there. I do a lot of speed running and randomizers on Twitch and YouTube. And yeah,